I just want to say thank you guys for subscribing and putting all those positive comments. You guys are the real heroes.
Come on now, you guys.
You can also support us on Patreon. We will appreciate it. Let's begin with today's movie, which begins with some prisoners running in the woods. Behind them, some soldiers are chasing, led by this guy. Turns out prisoners are actually brother and sister. Guy advises her sister to run while he will stop the soldiers. Guy's name is Damien. Some soldiers hear a screaming voice and see that one of their men is down. He has blue markings on his neck. There was another scream and 2 more soldiers went down. Their leader finally manages to capture the girl. Her brother eliminated the last remaining guy from behind. General shoots the girl and she falls down. In the next scene, we can see that she pulls out a bullet and heals herself. Her name is Sirona and that's her superpower. Her brother arrives and tries to stop the general using his power, but the general manages to eliminate him. As he was going for the girl, her brother stops him. He has the power of eliminating others by touching them. Sirona, with healing powers, tries to save her brother, but he is immune to her powers, so she couldn't save him. He takes his last breath and Sirona leaves him there. In the next scene, we are introduced to a new group of soldiers. They manage to secure a secret package. A girl is holding a sniper at the location. But enemies arrive from nowhere and the drill mission is declared as failure. Meet Alan, who is the leader of the group. Jason, who is trying his best to deliver his dialogues.
It's only a training round, don't be such a...
Comic relief guy named Tuck, and a badass girl named Julie. Everyone is led by Marrow. Later, they all had a party. Tuck tries to flirt with Julie and other guys make fun of him. He claims that his relationship with Julie is like Mary Jane and Peter Parker.
I know you know those names. Even he knows who Peter Parker is.
This isn't a video game, man.
I had to mention a little chat that Marrow had with Alan because it is important to the storyline. Marrow had a brother who didn't survive his last mission.
Why are you bringing it up?
Marrow gets a call from his boss which mentions that the next process is ready. This call was also important and you will know why in the last part of the story. Marrow gathers his team and gives them a brief about their mission. They are going to capture this girl named Sirona who stole a biochemical weapon which is very dangerous. They need to capture her alive because she is the only lead to that weapon. He gave them her last known location, which is in the mountains. Meanwhile, Sirona is finding her way through the jungle. She has a tag which has her brother's name on it. She comes across a cabin and explores it. She found a photo of a man who is probably the owner of the house. She takes some food from the fridge and lies on the couch. While she is sleeping, we get some of the flashbacks from her memory. It was a woman's voice saying that Sirona's molecular structure is modifying. She is evolving and she is becoming more dangerous. Kelvin, who is the owner of the house, arrives. He turns out to be a nice guy as he offers to help Sirona and makes sure that she is comfortable. He gets to know that her brother is no more. He also had a daughter which is no more. Sirona explains that she could have helped her daughter. Kelvin gets confused. Sirona demonstrates her power by healing herself in front of Kelvin. Alan and his team find a trail and they follow it. Our team arrives at the location. Jason gets in an argument with Julie since she is a new member to this team. He doesn't like her because she is a replacement for his deceased brother Mike. Tuck explains to Julie about Mike, who was Jason's brother and she is a replacement for him. Sirona shares that Dr. Truman used to take care of her in the Valkyrie. It was her voice in dreams before. Valkyrie is the company's name of Dr. Truman is working for. She was the experiment where she used to touch injured animals and people to heal them. Her brother, on the other hand, has the opposite job. He touches them to make them weaker. She knew that her brother was touching them because of the mark left by her brother. Both siblings are immune to each other. Means her brother couldn't hurt her and she couldn't save him. Later, when Kelvin leaves to run some errands, he advises Sirona to stay at home. Alan and his team arrive at the cabin. They enter the house and search for Sirona. They find her and take her prisoner. They also search the house for a bioweapon but couldn't find anything. Alan calls Morrow and informs him that he has the girl. Morrow turns out to be a bad guy who eliminates people for fun. Meanwhile, Julie and Jason get into an argument again. Tuck was going to the bathroom but was stopped by Kelvin. He captures Tuck and asks his teammates to release Sirona. Alan manages to stop him with a knife. Now Kelvin is also captured. They ask Kelvin about the bioweapon, but Kelvin doesn't know anything about it. But he manages to convince the team that they are being lied to. Sirona is safe and the real threat is people who are after her. Alan and Jason get in an argument again. Tuck found Damien's tag, which says he was an experiment. This raises many questions about their mission. Now the team is convinced that Sirona is not a threat and they decide to keep her safe and ask Morrow about the experiments. Julie guards the house from outside but Morrow's man manages to capture her. Alan asks Morrow about the girl and they get into an argument. Alan tries to convince Morrow that this was a bad contract and Sirona is not a threat. According to their contract, they should deliver the bioweapon, but they didn't find it. Morrow reveals that Sirona is a bioweapon and she is a ticking time bomb. Turns out Ryan is Morrow's brother, who was eliminated by Damien in the beginning of the movie. Morrow has a personal agenda to take revenge on Sirona. Tuck and Sirona finds Kelvin on the chair. One of Morrow's men shoots Tuck. A fight takes place between Morrow's and Alan's team. In the end, Morrow's team wins, but Julie manages to snipe Morrow and his partner. They found Sirona, who managed to heal Tuck and take the bullet out of him. Next day, everyone chills out and they find out that Sirona has supernatural powers now. They form a plan to escape before Valkyrie's men come looking for them. Tuck was going to hide Morrow's body, but his face changed. Turns out this wasn't Morrow. Sirona recognizes that person as Cody, and she confirms that he was a shapeshifter working in the experiment facility of Valkyrie. They tried to escape through the jungle. In the jungle, Sirona found people lying around with marks on their bodies. It was the same mark that her brother used to give the victims when he used his powers on them. She assumes that her brother is alive and shouts his name. But Morrow arrives at the location. He manages to capture Sirona and asks other guys to drop their weapon. Alan tries to convince Morrow to let her go. But Morrow reveals that Sirona is going to evolve into something and she is going to become more dangerous than she is now. He shoots Sirona and argues with Alan and his team members. Sirona manages to hit Morrow with a knife, not sure from where she summons that knife. In the plot twist, it was revealed that the call Morrow got earlier was about the process of transferring abilities. He sends shapeshifter Cody to capture Sirona and he goes for an ability transfer procedure. He has powers of Sirona's brother Damien. Everyone manages to defeat Morrow's men one by one. But Morrow is about to execute Alan using his new powers. Sirona stops him and throws a flash grenade. Okay, I think she can summon any random weapon on her. She heals Alan and they had a conversation about Morrow's having abilities of Damien, and Sirona is the only one who can stop him. Morrow arrives again and attacks them. He tries to use his power on Sirona, but it didn't work. Sirona and her brother's power don't work on each other. She manages to shoot Morrow. Seriously, from where she is getting all these weapons. After she takes down Morrow, everyone comes together to check on each other. Few days later, we meet Dr. Truman, who was in charge of experiments done on Sirona in Valkyrie. Alan and Jason arrive at her house to get the final answer to the question, why she is a bioweapon and how she can be dangerous. Jason pulls his gun, but Doctor reveals that she doesn't have any abilities. They all sit down and Dr. Truman explains everything to them. Sirona's molecular structure is changing and she is evolving into something dangerous. She is going to be the most destructive version of herself in the future.
So you hire a bunch of guns to kill her?
Dr. Truman was helping her in the facility, but Morrow uses lethal methods to take her down. She was against Morrow. She asks them to hand over Sirona to her. But guys deny her request and tell Doctor that they are going to protect her. In the next scene, we see that all the guys leave together in harmony and Sirona joins them.
Guy with no powers dresses like a bat. Why the other superheroes even let him hang around?
Sirona claims that she is having a headache, but she touches herself and cures it. After she goes upstairs, she realizes that her powers are getting out of hand. Literally. Alan downstairs declares war on Valkyrie, saying that if they come for Sirona, they will fight them. Sirona's eyes glows and the movie ends. What happened to Sirona? That is explained in part 2 of the movie. Not sure if there is ever going to be part 2. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about the movie. Be sure to like and subscribe for recaps like this. Also support us on Patreon, and remember,
you guys, you are the real heroes.
Stand up!